tech
glitch gremlin.
difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's have a look and see, because I was getting video encoding error before, but let's see what we kind of go for here. It's looking to stabilize around 3,000, which I'm pretty sure is what we always have it as.
If I
so,
move a lot.
Yeah, you look fine, and I'm not getting the warning as of now. So, yeah, let's just see how this goes. I work in IT. Team wing it.
It's so good. That's why I'm glad I have you. Okay. And did you see? I sent you the asset for Caden next week. Did you see?
Yeah, I'll sort that out for next week. No worries.
Rad.
It'd be quite easy to wedge that in.
Yeah, just resize stuff. It should be the right ratio to fit.
I was thinking I'll probably just resize us and have it like a triangle. So me and you, top left, top right, and Caden like underneath us in the middle, sort of thing. So it's like a triangle, rather than have us all in a line and really small. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Do that.
Yeah, I figured that's how I was going to do it. Yeah. We're going to have a spoiler alert. Anyone who's actually tuned into the podcast already, we're going to have a guest next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it looks like we are streaming. We haven't got this error from last time. So it'd be nice if someone did pop in. Tim is normally here pretty quick after you tweet. So it'd be nice to see him and just confirm we are actually live. So we're not casting to the ether anymore. Although we did get a lot of views from Limbo last week. A lot of demons thumbs up us. Yeah. They're like, it's not often we get streaming services out here in Limbo. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Even though these two are talking complete wank for 2 hours, it's better than nothing. It's better than looking at flames for an eternity.
Exactly. Or an exclusive Limbo podcast. Limbo streaming podcast.
That'd be so cool.
Or to have a fan base of like demons and other entities.
Yeah, of spirits that haven't yet passed, and like
everyone will just think we're insane
them pass
because our videos get no views, and we're like, all our viewers are demons. Everyone's just like, these guys are fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah. You know how some YouTubers have like pet names for their audience. We'd be like, hey, what's going on, demons and limbo dwellers? Welcome back to another episode.
Yeah. Thanks for pausing all your killing and lashing and general torturing to tune in to our podcast this week.
It's important to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's rough. Does that happen in Limbo? That's quite scary.
Yeah. I mean...
Is Limbo hell?
No, Limbo is like... It's weird. I think Limbo, or what's the other name for it? It's called something else. Purgatory. That's it. I think Limbo and Purgatory is like... So I think you got hell for like demons and shit like that, and then heaven is angels, and then I think Purgatory was for like monsters. So like vampires, werewolves, and stuff like that go to Purgatory. But I don't know. I think that's what Purgatory was.
Has that been a video game name yet? I feel like that should be
Purgatory. Yeah. Could be pretty cool. Cool concept. Yeah. Make a little Souls-like where you're trapped in Purgatory. Instead of a fucking Pinocchio retelling. Okay.
Yeah, what's that about? What are we going to have next? Winnie the Pooh?
We've had a movie about Winnie the Pooh. Remember that horror? Or was it called Blood and Honey?
Yeah, something like that.
Apparently it was shit.
It's wild. Who could have seen that coming?
Oh, hi Tim. He's here. Nice, we're live. Confirmed. Human audience member.
Human in the chat.
Let's go.
Fucking awesome.
Oh, God.
All right, man. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I'll jingle you in, and I'm just gonna get the notes up. But yeah, we're jingling.
Oh yeah, me too. I should probably do that as well, shouldn't I? Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to episode 114 of the Quick Resume podcast. It's not a good day. It's not a good day. Not probably for you. It's probably a fine day. Maybe it's not. I don't want to be assumptive, but for us, it's not a good day. So you're gonna have to bear with us. Our souls are a little bit
weathered,
damaged,
withered,
maybe withered even. Yeah. what was the perished, like perishable? We got some perishable souls in.
We do.
In the body at the moment. Yeah. So we're going to do our best to bring you the good stuff that's happened this week, of which there is plenty. You know, I think this is a good episode if we manage to rekindle the soul flame, which I think we can do that. Tim, what say you?
Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% confident, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to commit to anything. But yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for the home run.
Okay, we'll give it a good crack. All right. Well, if you're new here, or maybe even if you're returning and you've forgotten, maybe some sort of degenerative disease has kicked in. My name's Deck. That's Tim over there.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
And we're happy to see you. Tim, how you doing, buddy? What's cooking? What would you like to share or disclose to the audience?
I'm gonna. Well, I'm going to disclose for a start, I have not played many video games this week. It has been a work-heavy week, and it's been the sort of evening nights that, as lazy as it sounds, I can't be asked to play a video game. So I just like pop on YouTube or pop on Netflix or something like that. So yeah, I haven't really played much. I think maybe I've clocked like another hour on Starfield since I last spoke from last week. Maybe a little bit more than that actually. But yeah, it's been slow on the whole gaming front. And I'm still convinced that Starfield hasn't fully sunk its hooks into me yet. I don't know. I don't feel too excited to jump onto Starfield. Right now it kind of seems chory. But I'm sure once I get some cool powers and shit and get a decent into the story, a decent chunk into the story, that'll change. But yeah, that's kind of my vibe at the moment. But it could just be work related, just being overworked and being a bit tired. So I mean,
I wouldn't blame you if not. Starfield is a very funny game like that. It is a bit lopsided at times.
Sometimes it can feel a bit like quite an effort to jump on. Sometimes you just want to boot up a game and just shoot shit or just do stuff quickly. And Starfield sometimes can't be that game. You know, it's just like, oh, I'm actually in a really dialogue heavy thing. I don't really want to think about this and my morality choices. I kind of just want to just do stuff. So yeah, it definitely can be that kind of game. There is a vibe to it, I think.
Although I will say there are times where I felt the same, and I've just picked a random point on a planet, and I just go to the nearest bandit camp and I just shoot stuff for 45 minutes and then get something good out the end. Like I've definitely felt the same where someone's like talking to me and I'm like, I don't want to deal with you right now. I just want to shoot stuff.
Do you actually feel like that's beneficial to your time though? Do you feel like you actually come out of that with?
I would say something good out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
I would say very rarely there are times where I do go on like a little expedition and I'm like, that was like a waste of my time. But most of the time I would say I come out with a magazine, you know, like a permanent skill boost or like a good weapon or something, or at the very least credits, you know. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, nice.
And the best part about that is that I'll always look for a planet and then I'll zoom in really far and land right on the coast somewhere, so then I can see the sea and take some really nice photos.
Oh, nice, man. That's just great.
That's my vibe.
On the whole. I haven't actually found one of those magazines. So how do those work? Do they actually give you like a point in one of the trees?
No.
How does it work?
No, it's not a point. It's not a point in a tree. It will just tell you that it's going to do something forever, and you pick it up and you get. It's usually quite minor, but.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
But it surprises me you haven't found any yet. Maybe it shouldn't surprise me because.
No, I haven't.
You're only 12 hours in or something.
Yeah, about 15 hours in. Yeah.
So yeah. I just you'll find them the more you explore. They're usually on tables, you know. Use your scanner to see the outlines of things. That'll help.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I mean, that's how you know it's been a bad week if there's not been any time for video games.
Yeah, sometimes it do just be like that, you know. And yeah, it's not the most fun. And there are a few times where like genuinely I just wanted to clock off on time or even early from the overtime I've been doing, and I just never got around to it. And then you're just too tired to sort of play games. So Yeah, it's been a little bit of a shame, but hopefully things will wind down a bit this week. I'll get some more time in, and there's a few releases I wouldn't mind hopping on next week. As much as I want to get into Starfield, I'm definitely not a fan of only having one game to play like all the time. Like I've never been a fan of that. I'd like to have like one or two, depending if I want to like jump on and shoot something, or if I want to jump on and like RPG, that sort of thing. So there's a couple of things I'm looking forward to. So maybe that'll help as well. But yeah.
Hell yeah. We've got it's a good bit of time. Well, it's just a good time for video games, isn't it? Mental.
Yeah.
Why are we so busy? Why is this the busiest week of our lives collectively when it's the best year for video games since we've been adults? What's that about? That's stupid.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah. Sometimes I just wish I was 16 again. I could just be up in my room and play games.
I feel
you worry about nothing else.
In the last the hours between 10 o'clock and 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning are some of the most divine hours in my entire week. It's great. I mean, I love spending time with my family. Obviously, I'm not saying that I'm some weirdo that lives in a basement.
Yeah, everyone needs a break.
But I'm just saying, in terms of video games, on the Xbox podcast that we are, that's divine video game time. There's this weird golden aura that kind of glows around me. It's very cool. I should probably film it once.
That would be cool. At this point, was this when you were recording your Dragon Ball Z screams for the WhatsApp group?
Did you like that?
I did. They were actually very impressive. Yeah. A few of them were so high pitched you genuinely sounded like the Japanese voice actors powering up. Very good.
Is it going to be silly if I play one?
It might be quite compressed and loud, but you can give it a go. Just fair warning to anyone listening. There might be a Dragon Ball Z scream that hits your ears in a second.
Which one did you think was the best one? The Vegeta one or the Majin Buu one?
I don't know. I think the Vegeta one was more canon.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and get the volume level right. All right, so just a picture in your mind's eye, Vegeta doing this thing. You know what he does? He's a small little man. He gets angry, closes his eyes, and then he screams. Did that come? That was me. In case you didn't know.
Yeah, it did come through. Yeah, it's right at the cusp of his transformation. It's as he pops into golden hair. Yeah. It's right at the end.
Right at the climax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good though.
Shit, man. Well, I'm sorry. The week's been so bad. And Timmer's in chat as well. Poor Timmer's saying he hasn't had time to play because of work either. What's going on?
Why is work ramping up when games ramp up? It's like the universe balancing itself. I don't like it.
No, it doesn't feel right, does it? And it's like you say, there's so much good stuff coming out as well. I'm still really deep into Starfield. I've still got on the backlog stuff that you've bought this year. Resident Evil Remake. I'm gonna play that at some point. Probably when I've wrapped up Starfield, that'll be my next single player game. Midnight Suns, I'm sure I'm going to get around to that at some point.
Well, our friend just recently bought that as well. It's weird.
It's so weird. Okay,
just buy a 50, 60 hour game on the cusp of 5 releases that he's going to play. It makes no sense.
So peculiar. We're going to absolutely whip him next week when he's on the show.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, he's just come on so we can hurl abuse at him. He has no idea.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I said to him, "Oh, we'll bring you on so you can talk about Mortal Kombat because you're the fighting game expert." But really, we're gonna click go. I'm gonna be like, "Kate, you fucking suck. You fucking suck, dude."
And then we'll kick him from the Discord call and then carry on the show as normal.
Yeah. Just as he breaks into tears, perfectly cut cry.
Yeah.
Party animals, because we haven't really been doing much social gaming either, have we? I don't even know the last time we got in a party, me and you, for Remnant, probably a month ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I saw I watched a review for Party Animals and some trailers, and I was like, I think You know what? I think this is some gaming therapy for me right now. I feel
That's
like I kind
that's a
of
palate cleanser.
yeah. I feel like I kind of need this a little bit, and
I'm with
like
you.
um, I think the sort of gaming started to come back a little bit into our group as well. Like yesterday, I got invited by Ridge. You'll never guess. They were playing Apex. Obviously, I didn't join. I'm not going near Apex with a 10-foot fucking pole.
That's
Um,
unbelievable.
yeah, but I was like, nah, not happening. But like, I can see that flame just flickering again. So like, I feel like we could get a decent group on for like something like Party Animals, which is next week, isn't it? Is it next week?
I think it's Tuesday. Yeah.
Is it the 19th? It's the 19th or the 20th. I can't
Oh, it's
remember.
20th. I think you're right. Actually, I
Yeah,
think you're
so
right. I think
yeah,
it's
it's
20th.
Wednesday, I think, because I think Payday's also Wednesday, or it might, no, Payday's Friday. So yes, you got Mortal Kombat, Lies of P, and Party Animals all on Tuesday, and then you've got
Yeah.
Payday 3 on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to give Party Animals a go. I'm like teetering on. We'll see how Payday goes. I loved Payday 2. I really did. I'm just like,
it's fun.
I'm not sure if I can be bothered to create the time for it right now unless it performs well.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not going to be done with Starfield by the end of the week. Like, that's going to keep ticking away for a while, I imagine.
It could also be group dependent, right? I mean, surely if like 3 of us were all on and inviting you, surely you'd probably would give it a go. But yeah, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, but I'm definitely going to give more combat some of my time. I'm quite looking forward to that. Just story mode just looks really cool, and I love the story modes. And then they've actually got like a really cool like new mode where you like go around on like a map and like just have like loads of fights that have like really weird, unique modifiers and stuff like that to them. And then if you beat those fights and you get currency, and that's how you unlock like skins and cosmetics in the game and stuff. It's quite a cool little interesting little single player mode they've got. They haven't brought back puzzle combat yet, unfortunately.
If only. Where's my tag team, Ed Boon? Fucking sort it out.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I do like a tag team. Yeah, that was Mortal Kombat 9 we played tag team in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they never had it. They've never had it since.
I think it was PS2. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was really cool. We loved that. We played that to death, that mode.
I think it was hang on. No, I think it was a 360 because it was 2011. Yeah, PlayStation 3 and 360. Yeah, it was on 360.
Okay. All right, it was 360. Okay. Nice.
But it seems to be doing pretty well. Mortal Kombat 1 currently on a mighty 86 on Opencritic after 25 reviews, looking solid. It's looking like a Mortal Kombat range, but the game looks good. I'm in two minds. I really want to play it, but like I just don't know if I have the time for. Yeah, you know what fighting games are like. It's like a big money sink, and I've always enjoyed. I like the stories as well. But like after that, it's like it's quite a big time sink to keep enjoying fighting games, if you know what I mean. Like you have to keep practicing, and I'm like, do I want to do that? I don't know.
But there's a part of me that just misses the whole if we could, because I know like Ridge will have it because Caden's got it and they game share. Like if you could just get like 5-6 people in like a King of the Hill, like I just feel like that could be pretty fun. You know?
So we want to do that and just spectate other people kick our asses.
Yeah, obviously Caden, we'd have to maim him somehow, like make him like randomize his characters. He's not allowed to pick anyone.
Play with his toes.
Yeah, play with his toes. Yeah, so but yeah, there's lots of things on the horizon. It's definitely a good time to be gaming. Whether you're binging it all in Starfield or you're dancing between loads of different things. I feel like there's a lot to cater for pretty much every genre right now, and I feel like it's just a good time for gaming. Whether you want to piss about and like party animals, whether you want to fight people, Mortal Kombat, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of variety out there right now. So it's really good. It's cool.
And particularly on Xbox as well, right?
Starfield,
Lies of P, Party Animals, Payday 3, all of that
all Game Pass and all Game Pass.
Great.
Don't have to spend a single full price tag. That's pretty nuts, to be fair, isn't it?
And in Forza, I don't know if it's about Forza. That's on the docket for this week because there have been previews, but Forza's in like 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
That looks insane.
There's like 4 to 5 like games that we genuinely are looking to boot up and play, and we don't have to put a single full price tag on any of them.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Yeah,
it's especially good for me because I'm well, I mean, like, kind of, I mean, I think listeners probably know, but like, I've got a baby, and so my wife isn't working, and so I'm on a single income household at the moment, so things are like fairly tight, and I've genuinely thought about it. I was like, if Game Pass wasn't there, would I buy all these first party games? And the answer is probably no. Like,
no.
I probably wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't be spending money on Party Animals or Payday 3.
Oh no, definitely not.
Starfield, I'd probably splash for, but even things like Hi-Fi Rush, which I loved, that's still probably my game of the year. Hi-Fi Rush. Redfall, I would have bought, of course, full price. I'd have bought the deluxe edition twice.
Yeah. Do you actually see that article they put out at the beginning of September? And basically, we're just like, this game will be good eventually. They were just like Fallout 76. It's had a rough start, and they were just like, we're going to put the time in. It will be good. Games Pass lives forever, and Redfall will be there. Did you see that article?
Yeah, it was Pete Hines, wasn't it? It was the community guy.
I don't think so. I have a feeling once they actually get knee deep in this project of doing this, I think it's going to be like an Anthem where they're just like, it just ain't worth the money. Like, it's just not going to recoup it. Like, even if we make it good, I just don't think you're going to recoup those costs and you're going to get players come back. But it's hard to say, because Redfall did have an interesting concept and it very much was in the public eye. So then you'd think that if they do make it good again, that the public eye would start to, create videos and social media about it finally becoming good, and that will bring players back. So it's weird. There's a genuine chance, but yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings, and from what I've heard, the community is quite split on whether Redfall should be supported or not. On one hand, from a business perspective, it's bad. Like, they don't have to worry about the bill so much anymore because Microsoft's got their back. So from the PR perspective, it's good for them to be like, we're going to get this to like a good standard. Like, we're not going to reinvent the game, so those flaws will stay, but we're going to make the frame rate better. We're going to make the bugs go away. We're going to get rid of the AI, and then maybe that gets up to like a 7, and maybe because. And I think he said in the article as well, didn't he? Like, Game Pass lives forever, sort of thing. Like, so that means I think Xbox probably want them to get it up to a good level as well, because it's going to be on Game Pass forever. They don't want people downloading this 3-year-old game. Oh, Arcane, first party studio.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's this? Like, 3 years old. This should be better than this, So I probably a skeleton crew. Keep the skeleton crew on it to make it acceptable, I suppose, because I'm sure there are some people out there who will enjoy it.
I think if there's a dry spell at some point in the future and we've somehow got through all the releases and first party things that Xbox are cooking up right now, I might hop on it, like, genuinely. Like, I mean, the main issue, I mean, the main issue with that game was the AI, the performance, and just the general emptiness of the game. Like, running around felt quite empty. So, I mean, I feel like if you could improve those areas, like, genuinely, you can bump that game up a few points, like, those will improve it. I think it's not graphically that impressive, but art style's fine. Storyline is fine. I think, innovative ideas were there. They just weren't executed because of the janky AI and stuff like that. So it's all there. It's just, there's some tweaks that can be made, but yeah, it's quite interesting.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. It is interesting. And I was just quickly having a look at the Opencritic while I was
56.
While we're talking about it, 57.
Oh, let's go.
14% critics recommended. I mean, there is an argument. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I suppose I don't want to get caught up in this too long because we do have stuff to go through. But like, there is an argument to be made here. Like, do you think that score? I mean, neither of us have played it, so maybe it's a bit of a mute conversation. But like, do you think there was a bit of dogpiling that went on to the tail end of the review, or do you think that was all pretty accurate?
I think a 57 or whatever it's sitting on is a very justified score. I've seen some pretty extensive gameplay of this and people reviewing it, going through it. I've even seen people come back to it. Like, I saw a video that someone went and tried it again like 2-3 days ago. for any patches or hot fixes they've done. And the game just looks pretty ass, man. It genuinely looks like a 5 out of 10 game. Like, I don't think there was any dogpiling or Xbox biasy or anything there. I just think it was a very mediocre to bad game, unfortunately, from what I can tell. Each to their own, obviously, but from what I can tell.
Hell yeah. And the other thing as well, I just noticed, just while I had it up compared to my other tabs, Metro gave the same score to Redfall that they did to Starfield.
Yeah, I know, it's mental. I brought that up when we were talking about it last week. Yeah, I was just like, they gave that the same score as Redfall. And Redfall is like a barely functioning, awful frame rate, AI running into walls and glitching through the floors sort of game. And it's just like, Starfield is not that. Like, that's what I was saying. I think anything below like a 7.5 or an 8 for Starfield is pretty mean. Like, I even think giving it a 7 is quite mean. And that's coming from someone that hasn't even been hooked on it. Yeah, I still think
you can still see.
It's an 8 out of 10 sort of minimum game. It has its issues, sure. By no means is it perfect. But it's a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity to switch into that conversation actually, about the sliding scale that's been going on here. Starfield has slipped down to an 86 on Opencritic and on Metacritic on the Xbox version, because on Metacritic they split it by platforms for some reason. On Xbox it slipped down to an 83.
Ooh. I still think that's not awful. Like I said, I do think the game is like an 8 or higher. Like, and I think right now, and my vibe of it right now as well, I probably would give it like an 8. I don't think I would give it an 8.5 or a 9 right now. So that doesn't seem atrocious to me, like, at all. But if it dipped any lower than that, I'd be quite a little bit concerned. Yeah,
it's not, and it's like me saying it slipped to an 83 on one of the platforms on one of the aggregate sites isn't like a judgment on on what I feel about it necessarily. Yeah, it's just I think it's better than that. I've been saying for a few weeks now I'm about a 9, and I think I'm still there. I haven't completed it yet. I've got New Game Plus lined up. I've been saying for 2 weeks now I'm going to finish it, and then I go off to start another quest, and I'm gone for hours. And something cool happens. I finish one of the factions. There's more I want to talk about there in a bit, but what I think it is fair to say is that overall, if you are going to specifically look at the Xbox version, like I think the PC version is still at an 87, maybe it's an 86. How do I check it? Yeah, the PC version is at an 87, and it only has 9 less reviews. So that's weird.
Why the dip? Yeah, is it because performance is just worse on Xbox? So you can hit higher frames on PC? Like,
what's your interpretation? Why would
I don't know. I don't have a PC.
Well, no, I mean, some people may argue, Tim, that it's not. I mean, because there's not any performance issues on Xbox.
No.
You could argue. Well, you could argue it has 30 frames. Some people would argue that's not objectively worse. Some people would. Other people would say people didn't want to give the Xbox version a good score. I'm not saying that. I'm saying some people would say that. Just asking questions. And also Metacritic's weird because I think I said this to you before, it weights outlets differently, but it does that invisibly. We don't know who has what weight. All we know is that on their fact page, some outlets have more weight, so presumably the bigger ones. So, and for some reason, loads of the bigger sites gave Starfield quite low scores. And all those scores were on Xbox. So probably just coincidence. It just means it's created a bit of an anomaly where the Xbox version has dragged down on Metacritic.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's quite
interesting.
It's a bit weird.
But it's why I think, unless you have a good reason to divide the platforms up, like when you were looking at Cyberpunk back on its release, like there was a good reason to see why the previous gen versions had a 50 and PC version had a mid 80. Unless there's that, I think Opencritic's your best bet because you're not dealing with weighting and it's like there's no real difference most of the time. But what I think it is fair to say, if we're thinking just about the critical reception, is that for a Bethesda Game Studios game, an 86, it's a bit of an underwhelming score. Couple of points, 2 points lower than Fallout 4. Is it a big deal? Probably not. Is that accounted for or justified because it's a new IP and a little bit experimental? Maybe. Depends what you think and how you feel about it. Commercially, still seems to be doing really well. We haven't had an update since last week, so ultimately, the question remains: does it matter? And I think the answer remains probably not.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean it's set in stone now. I think if people want to play this game, like I feel like the reception is positive enough that they are currently playing it, or they've still got their mind set on playing it. Yeah, I don't think it's hurting it at this point.
Agreed. And okay, I will say again, it's had the effect it needed to. It needed market penetration, in my opinion. That's what Xbox needs, and it has. All of our friends have been playing it. You spoke about kind of there being a bit of a rekindling in our chat.
Yeah,
that started coming up since Starfield came out. People, we've been throwing messages back and forth about stuff. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, and I'm quite surprised. Really, everybody except you, because you've been busy, has been kind of on it non-stop. Yeah. Caden's only just dropped it because he had early access to Mortal Kombat. But
it's been pretty consistent. Everyone is playing it. Yeah, everyone's sort of dipping a good amount of time. They're in the high 20s or 30s level minimum. Obviously except me, but yeah, no, definitely, and like I said, I feel like it's kind of brought our group of friends that weren't messaging that much on the sort of group gaming chat back into the mix, and now we're talking about playing other games. I saw them on Apex, which is still really fucking weird, but and Party Animals, I threw in a message and everyone seemed kind of down for it when I was talking about it in the group chat and stuff like that. So, it just, it definitely has that effect, where it's just brought people back into that sort of mindset of gaming again, because it can be tough to slip out of that, when you're an adult and you've got adult things to do, job, family, all that sort of stuff to do. It could be quite hard to actually just slip out of gaming a little bit and really drastically just shorten your time doing it.
It's also socializing, right?
It is a form of socializing. It's my
that's your only form of socializing. Yeah. Of course, that's going to be tough if all of a sudden you've slipped out of it, you don't have the energy, and you're not really talking to anyone apart from family or whatever. Yeah, I reckon a lot of people get that.
Definitely. Yeah, it is my main form of it's just sort of socializing, because obviously our group of friends, we all live fucking really far away. We've got some in Bristol, in Europe, North, Birmingham, all that sort of stuff. So we're all quite far away from each other, so it's a good way to stay in touch. And it definitely feels like there's something missing, when those hours start to dwindle and stuff like that. So it's always good to get back into the swing of things.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Okay, well, I just wanted to very quickly, before we kind of move on from the Starfield discussion for now, I wanted to just very quickly share where I'm at, because I'm oh shit, what am I in? So I think I'm about 65 hours in. Jesus. I think about 65 hours in. I've done one of the factions. I'm level 36. And I'm pretty sure I've got the last quest ready to go. I'm pretty sure. And the faction quest was pretty cool. It was the stealth one. Having now done more of it, I will agree with you from last week that I think the stealth is wonky. It's fine. The more you spec into it, the better it gets. But there are times where you're like, what the fuck was that? And it kind of feels like I've heard it being said that it's because they're using the same stealth model as Elder Scrolls, where you're more cloaked the more dark environments you're in. But Starfield isn't always that dark, because you're in well-lit interiors, unless you're in a cave or at night, so you get seen very easily unless you have some good equipment, which I do. But on the flip side of that, Did we speak about that Dishonored clip that somebody did in Starfield?
Yeah, I
Like
saw
where somebody
that
was like,
online. Where he's like
yeah,
blinking everywhere and like going invisible. Did he go invisible? I think he had like an invisibility thing as well, didn't he?
he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that looked cool. That looked very cool.
And so halfway through that faction, I saw that and I got a bit of inspiration. I was like, you know what? I'm taking off all of these weapons apart from like 2, and I'm just gonna slot a load of powers. And I just played
Yeah.
Dishonored for the rest of that mission, and it was fucking great. It
Are
was so
you
good.
on that sort of thread? Is there like an easy way to respec in Starfield?
I
Like
don't know if
just
you can.
remove all your badges and put them on different badges or anything like that. If you wanted to try that stealth build or whatever,
I I don't
surely.
know. Um,
Actually,
I
I
mean,
guess there
did you
wasn't
ever
in
respec?
Skyrim.
No. I
No,
mean,
I
there
think
are unlimited levels. You can get every skin in the game. That's
yeah,
probably why.
yeah, I guess so.
Um,
That would be
but
kind of
the
cool
only
though if there was that, because I do
yeah,
feel like the leveling up can be quite slow in that. So like you might regret not putting a point in something because you now want to change your play style. So yeah, it would be nice if there was something like that. Maybe it's worth a Google, like you said.
yeah. But I mean, well, with what I'm saying, I've only got 2 points in stealth, and that's it. You know, I'm
Yeah,
not a stealthy
yeah,
character really. But like just for the sake of this, you know, I save scummed a couple of times, but like I pulled off some pretty cool stuff. Like I was blinking and then I was like pacifying people, and then I blinked to the other side and there was like this chemical pit and I like pushed someone into it. It was great. And then I was
that's pretty cool.
headshotting people with my stealth pistol and my stealth laser. I've got some stealth lasers now.
Yo,
Um, yeah. It's and that's the thing. Overall, the loop when you're in the flow of Starfield, it really does click. The loop is good. The loop is good. It's a lot of the other stuff that can get a bit distracting. You know, for me, the story's been really good. I thought that faction was good, not great. But a lot of the like I'm on this crazy side quest at the moment. Like I don't want to spoil it, but it's on like some distant planet, like bumfuck nowhere, dude. And it's like, and this was like back to back crazy missions. I've heard amazing things about the Vanguard and the UC quest line, and I think I'm going to save that for New Game Plus.
mm,
But I generally find the flow of the game is very good once you're in it. But there are lots of things that can suck you out of it, whether it's bugs or like dialogue being like wonky and overlapping. As you know, it's a pet peeve of mine. And like you said, you
yeah,
know, loading screens, things like that. One thing in particular that hasn't become too much of an issue yet, but I think I forgot to mention it last week, and I'm not going to spend long on it. Is that some of the procedural generation starts to repeat itself, and it's fucked up. It's so fucked
yes,
up.
I've heard this.
It's
Yeah,
happened to me. It's happened to me twice where I've been in the exact same facility, and it's like the biggest bummer. And there's a handful of times, like I could maybe 5 or 6 times, where I've been to like a power tower, and I've come out of it, and it spits you on the same place. I don't think I can spoil what happens next because I think I'm further in the story, but where it spat me out has been exactly the same place as where I've been before. So I
mm,
like it puts, and I like look around. I'm like, I've been here before. And if it just put me anywhere else, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have been able to tell. But because it put me in the exact same place, I'm like, I recognize that formation of icicles.
mm,
And there are just things like that where it makes me think. Overall, I think this procedural generation stuff, don't do it again, or do it very limitedly.
okay,
Because when that happens, it's such a bummer. It's so immersion breaking. You're like, I've been here. I don't want to do this again.
yeah,
Um, you know, and because they even use some of that stuff in quest line sometimes. So if you
mm,
get unlucky enough, you'll go into a quest that you have to do, and you'll go through a facility you've already been through, and you'll be able to tell. Like you won't, you know, nothing's different. It's exactly the same.
yeah.
Um,
So if you were to like sort of go back and just be like, remove the procedural generation, make more handcrafted and less planets, you would take the more handcrafted and like less planets, for example, over
well,
like
it's not
more and
that.
procedural. Because that's probably where
Um,
they made the compromise, right? It's the fact that they couldn't handcraft that
yeah,
much stuff for that many different planets and stuff like that. So they decided to go for procedural to, speed
I
things
don't
up.
think I would do that. I would tell them to stick to the vision because they wanted everything to feel big and vast. And I think if they had gone like, oh, here's one solar system, it just wouldn't like I'm playing Outer Worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's worth it for the flaws, for the vision. It would have been nice if they had, but it could have taken another year to like make 100 more handcrafted stuff. Because I suppose just to clarify what I'm talking about, like the facilities they make are crafted, but they're obviously pops down when you spawn in. And I just tend to go to those ones a lot because I want to go to them for a gunfight. Usually I'm like, I want to go and shoot stuff. But there are other things, like there are anomalies in the world, like natural formations, like craters. There are some really cool things I've never seen before. I'm like, whoa, the other day I found a massive, a kind of like jungle of hallucinogenic plants. There was like, it popped up on my scanner and I went in and my vision went all wonky and I was like wobbly for like 5 minutes afterwards. And there's just stuff like that I'm still finding. But the facilities in particular, they seem to be bound to the biomes. If it's an ice biome, it will be this one. If it's moon biome, like whatever generic dust, it'll be that. So there's only a couple per biome, so it's easy to run into the same one if you spend a lot of time on similar planets. Like if you're really fond of ice and snowy planets, you'll find that will happen. So I just wanted to get that out there because the other side of it is that I think the actual stuff they did with the planets is excellent. I'd say like keep that tech, reuse that tech. Like all the planets look great, and that's all procedural, and it never looks bad. I don't think. But it doesn't feel like they had enough time to make enough handcrafted stuff to support it. And that's so yeah. Still going really well. Still having a good time. I just wanted to highlight kind of where I'm at, but I'm super excited to get onto New Game Plus and see what all the fuss is about there because, goddamn, trying to keep away from spoilers, Tim. It's not been easy.
Yeah, I can imagine. You'll get there.
Thanks, man. All right, well, I've got a handful of things on the docket today. There's a couple we can whiz over, I think. Tim, on the new iPhone 15 Pro, Resident Evil 4 Remake and Village are coming to them native, not cloud streaming.
Yeah,
what's that about?
This. It's kind of nuts, man.
What's going
Mobile
on
gaming, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I don't know still how appealing that is to me. To play that sort of stuff natively, I still don't think that's good. Even if it runs great, I still don't think that's an experience I really want for those sort of games. But it's pretty impressive that it's able to do that, and the tech's there for that. That's kind of nuts. But yeah,
and once again, I'm like quite excited that the tech industry, although I guess the gaming industry, seems to be moving in the direction of like portability or like movability. Because like honestly, whether it was an iPhone or another make, whatever, if they did a phone that could support this sort of games and then supported Game Pass and even just like cross save with Game Pass and Xbox games in general, I'm looking at doing that. Do you know what I mean? I would rather, I would then consider buying that phone rather than buying a Asus ROG Ally or a Steam Deck because it's not my primary mode of play. But if I want to in a pinch, I can do that, and it's native as well. Like I don't know. I feel like that the doors are really being blown open for this whole portability angle.
Yeah, that means the storage in your phone though. What kind of storage do these iPhones come with these days? Because if it's native, you're looking at the game, plopping on a good 100 gig, right? I think Resident Evil and stuff like that are like 100 gig, or 80 gig. Very good point. So that'd be interesting. I wonder if phones can get like these will be releasing with 500 or a terabyte of storage. I don't really know these days, but I think iPhones can get up to 500 gig, but
you'll have to delete all the photos of your family.
Yeah, too, so you can play with Leon. Yeah, seems reasonable.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. Actually, tell me on face. Let's just get a timestamp. Okay. So yeah, that's funny. I mean, I do think, like, genuinely, not now, but in the next 10 years, Nintendo might have to look out if they're going to keep this Switch model going. We always, as the core audience, we always forget how popular the mobile is. But I think there was that stat we looked at a couple months ago, wasn't there? That like, of people playing Warzone, it was like 60 or 70% of them are on mobile.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So weird. Doesn't make any sense to me. I still think that number's fudged. Some kind of bots. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of kids, man. It's just a lot of kids doing free to play. But having said that, there is an argument to be made, especially about phones, that the economy around phones is different, right? Like people don't expect to pay for stuff on phones.
Yeah.
Like say it's got to be free. Yeah, free to play or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. Wonder what sort of price point these would come out, because I know obviously they're native and stuff like that, but like, will they still hold the same $69.99 price tag? Will it be transferable? Like, will they? I don't know. I guess you would buy it through Apple directly, wouldn't you? Or like their Apple store or something.
Just thinking about it gives them even less incentive to work with Microsoft and Xbox with xCloud, doesn't it? Because they don't want you streaming Resident Evil 4 when you could buy it for full price.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Interesting. Uh-oh. The portability wars. The Unity drama. Yeah, we have that on the docket, but we might as well talk about it now while we're on things that are kind of silly, but maybe create some interesting discussion. Do you see this stuff about Unity this week?
I haven't. No.
Really? Well, you have been busy.
So what's going on?
So Unity, the engine. It's like one of the main competitors for Unreal. The guys over there. I say the guys. The CEO, whatever. I can't remember his name. He's got such a punchable face. Hang on, Unity. CEO.
Is it even on our notes?
It is. It's further down. It's the first story.
Oh yeah.
Look at this fucking punchable face. I'll tell you what. Just share it. You should share the screen. I'm usually like, I feel a bit funny about using people's faces in content. I think it's a bit unethical at times, but I think this is one of the few times I'm allowed to make an exception, because look at the state of him. Look at that fucking mug.
Let's have a look. Oh my god.
Look at that. His name is John Riccitiello. So him, basically, Tim.
Yeah.
He decided last week that they're going to change the whole model for how devs pay to use their engine. Typically, my understanding is that it's just a license fee. You pay an upfront license fee, and now you can use it. Well, now they've said, you know what? Every time your game is installed and uninstalled, we get money.
Oh, fuck's sake.
That's how this is going to work. And no. Don't think we're just talking about games from now forward.
Oh, they're backdating it. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Your old stuff.
So they've been recording this data. So they have this data and they're just giving everyone a bill now. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, but I think, maybe. But like, it's just the stuff that's already on the market. That stuff would then be, we get charged for installs or uninstalls. It's bonkers.
Why uninstalls?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's not like a one-in-one-out system, is it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, installs is still scummy, but like you can see, like, okay, that makes sense. They install the game; it's built on this engine, but like, uninstall? Like, what? Huh? I mean, regardless, it's a real scummy move. I'm not justifying it in any way, but uninstalls just don't make any sense. But yeah. Okay. Wow. That's kind of insane. Yeah. That doesn't. And is that going to be on top of I assume an initial license fee as well, and then it's just going to be like a little add-on.
I mean, probably. I don't know.
That's kind of nuts, though.
But like, it's really interesting because they're like, oh yeah, that's going to happen for Game Pass as well.
Oh,
and like sub-services, and it's apparently that means that because Xbox would be publishing it, or PlayStation, on either service, they would then be paying for it. And it's like, yeah, good fucking luck getting Microsoft or PlayStation to pay for this.
Yeah.
Like the whole industry is like up in arms. Everyone's like, you're gonna walk this back any day, right? Because people are just gonna delist their games. Like they're gonna delist their games. They're just gonna say, no, we're not paying this, and they're just gonna delist their old games. Like it's not getting sales anymore to justify the cost of this happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's surely it's got to be
Unity
something surely it's got to be something they roll back, because it's just going to harm them moving forward, because like you said, people are just going to switch to a different engine, right? Obviously I know that's easier said than done, but it will happen slowly but surely. You're just going to see people move away. It doesn't make any sense. That's very weird.
It's absolutely mental.
Yeah.
I don't, and it interests me as well, because my sense for why this is a thing as well is because there's a massive the free to play market has grown so much, and they're like, oh yeah, give me some of that, lend me some sugar, oh, what's this? You've paid a one-time fee. That's not good enough when you're getting 1 million new users a month. We want in on that. So silly stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Hang on, I'm just getting a text.
That's right.
Obviously my brother was round and they've left meanwhile during the podcast, so I just need to go let him in. They forgot something. So yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
I'll take it from here. So that's Unity. Not ideal. Really not ideal. Kotick's name was on the black, but yeah, I mean, Kotick definitely has a punchable face. Bobby Kotick. But we'll have to we'll just have to see how it unfolds. It would be nice to see all of these people just kind of leave. Go away, never to return again. It's crazy. It's just, I guess it's just kind of the drip down effect of bad economy at the moment, right? But maybe I'm just being a bit Anglo-centric there. Can't speak for America. All right, what else have we got? Xbox are making a Mastercard. You guys heard of this shit? They're being really loosey-goosey with their money again. Controllers, mini fridges, hoodies, shoes, donuts, Mastercards. And it's got really bad rates as well. I don't know what the purpose of this is. Imagine rocking up to a bank and pulling out an Xbox Mastercard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You catch wind of this?
Yeah, I have heard of this. Yeah. Isn't it something like, it seemed quite cool, like in theory, because it was basically just like everything you kind of spend money on, you can like kind of earn points to then use on the Microsoft store. Yeah. But what is it? Is it not great when you actually look into it? I don't actually know the maths behind it.
Well, the rates were really, really high. That's all.
Okay.
So, not a particularly good grab, but it's also just this trend of Xbox just being like, right, what can we spend our money on?
Yeah, it's just weird shit. They do this all the time. They come up with the most random fucking shit.
Like partnerships,
Yeah, it's like, this doesn't need to exist. Like, God, the amount of like money Xbox is throwing away doing weird stuff like this is unbelievable. But
do people get this stuff? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got an Xbox Mastercard.
Really? Jesus.
It's pretty only available. I thought you'd have mentioned that. Let's be honest. Yeah, it's probably only US. Nothing ever comes to the UK. Surprised we still got Games Pass.
Yeah. Factual. Embracer, Tim, are looking to seek oh my goodness. Embracer are looking to sell Gearbox. Because Embracer are crumbling. They are falling apart. You're right. What was that?
That's my dog. Yeah, she's like damp and wet from the walk, so she just came out of the room and just decided to shake.
Is that Luna? Hi, Luna.
Yeah, that is Luna. Dex is high.
That's good. She needed to know.
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Gearbox. I made a little footnote before we start speculating any further. 2K owns the Borderlands IP. not Gearbox.
Ah.
What does Gearbox own, you might ask? They own Brothers in Arms. They bought the IP to Risk of Rain, and there's one more that I really can't remember. But it's not that important, I'm sure. So my question is, Duke Nukem and Homeworld. There we go. I mean, what's this about? I mean, not what's this about, but I mean, do you think anybody's going to scoop up Gearbox?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe buy the Borderlands IP, or maybe 2K just absorbs them and just says, get cranking on the old Borderlands factory, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think Borderlands is a franchise worth investing in. Like, I do think, although the third installment wasn't perfect, it's still a good game, and I feel like there's a lot you can do with Borderlands. It's kind of wacky enough that you can kind of make it whatever you want, right? You can make the guns as crazy as you want, the stories as crazy as you want, the characters. It's quite flexible, I feel. It's quite unique, I feel, in its gameplay and art style and everything like that. I feel like it's a good franchise. It's a good IP to invest in, I think. And I think Gearbox are quite talented, although in the past have proven to be quite weird and quite greedy sometimes with their games. But
Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, Randy Bitchford can be a bit weird. There's a whole scandal with Battleborn as well. That was really weird. So yeah, they've had some blunders, like, for sure, but I feel like they're a studio worth scooping up, like, for sure. Yeah.
I do think they're a hard purchase, to be honest.
But
like,
what kind of price tag are we looking at here?
What does it say on the notes? There is a
It
price
says
there.
1.3
billion.
1.3 billion. So what's that? I mean, Bungie was bought for 2.5. Bethesda was bought for 7. 1.3 is, I don't know. It's not. It's a lot. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's a good amount of weight behind even just the Borderlands name alone. Like, there's a good amount
Bungie
of
was
weight behind
3.6.
that. It was what?
So you know.
Oh, I thought
Bungie
okay,
was 3.6.
Okay, I thought it was 2.5. Yeah, I feel that there's a decent amount of weight behind the Borderlands name. Like, it's a popular game. It sells a lot of copies. And to have that, like, I don't know, yeah, swooped up by PlayStation or Xbox or anyone like that, and have that as like an exclusive, I feel like that's it's pretty weighty. And 1.3 billion isn't too extortionate, I don't think. I feel like Gearbox is talented enough. You could probably put them on other projects too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I and that's the thing. Like, when you look at it at the surface, it sounds like an appealing purchase that I think a lot of publishers could be interested in. Xbox, get them on. They make a lot of these co-op games. Game Pass, perfect. PlayStation, they need like co-op and multiplayer, more expertise in house. Get them on a new IP called Not Borderlands. And that's a co-op looter shooter PlayStation IP. That'd be perfect for them. You know. However, it gets messy the more you think about it, because Gearbox don't own the IP. Like, for example, if PlayStation they don't own the Borderlands IP. If PlayStation were gonna buy them, they'd have to buy Gearbox and then buy the Borderlands IP off 2K.
Yeah, 2K.
Which they would rob them for. They would fleece them for that IP, because they'd be desperate for it.
That's true.
It was like, I think we had a similar conversation about WB Games, like how if somebody acquired Warner Brothers, as the publisher, they would then have to also buy the license to the superhero films, and it's like Warner Bros would just fleece them for the IPs and the licenses from DC rather. They would, so it gets tricky and it gets complicated, which is why I think it just makes sense that 2K is going to be like, we're just going to get you all in house, get you back on Borderlands, and that's the thing as well. What's the last good thing Gearbox made that wasn't Borderlands? They just don't seem to be able to make anything else good.
They fucked up their Alien game as well, didn't they? They did
really bad, the Colonial Marines.
Yeah, Colonial Marines. Yeah, they shat the bed with that. They shat the bed with Battleborn. I think those were their two most recent projects outside of Borderlands. Both trash. Yeah. I don't think there was too too much going on for them outside of Borderlands. Yeah, they seem like a one trick pony. Yeah, the Duke Nukem game that they did was actually alright, wasn't it? That was actually quite a good sort of remake.
I think it was okay. They have got into the publishing, wing in recent years as well. I say in recent years, like the last decade, like for example, and they've been decent at it, to be honest. They've like really taken Risk of Rain and they really elevated that. Like that became quite a big name for Risk of Rain too. They, like I said, they acquired the IP actually, like they own it.
Yeah.
And they actually published Remnant as well, Remnant 2. They published
that. Oh wow.
Obviously it was Gunfire Games. Gunfire Games devved it, but Gearbox published it. So they're just a difficult buy because I imagine, are they going to want to give up publishing? Probably not. They're going to have a whole bunch of staff on publishing. So it just puts them in a difficult spot, I think, for an acquisition, which is why I don't think they'd get 1.3. I think Embracer are going to continually lower that price until someone takes them. And I think that person's going to be 2K.
Yeah, I think you're right. When you, like, as you said, when you talk about the whole, weird IP holding for Borderlands, which is the main incentive to get someone like Gearbox. Let's be real.
Exactly. You need them on Borderlands or they're risky. They're a risky buy without Borderlands.
Yeah, exactly. It's the main reason you're going to want them. So yes, I think you're right. I think it's most likely going to be absorbed by 2K when that price lowers. Yeah.
Which is probably the best outcome for them. So
I think so. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad outcome at all. I think that's kind of fine. So yeah.
All right. Should we do this next? Yeah. Okay. Let's do this next. Let's have a quick talk about the directs. So it was a big video game week, wasn't it? Video game week. Nintendo Direct, PlayStation Direct. Any sort of general thoughts?
I didn't watch
either of them.
I didn't watch the Nintendo one. I watched the PlayStation one. Pretty good, man. Like I thought it was decent. Like sure they didn't like show anything new or anything like that, but I feel like they had a good showing for things that are coming up. Like I thought the Spider-Man showing was actually pretty extensive. Like they showed a crap ton of new gameplay and a crap ton of new like information about it. And I thought it looks pretty fire, and then I think recently a lot of content creators and stuff like that have got the green light for going ahead on like hands-on impressions, and everything seems very positive about that game. I genuinely think that's going to be a game of the year contender by the sounds of it, by the sort of rumbles it's making. So it's looking to be pretty good. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looked fucking banging. That trailer absolutely blew my socks off. There was so much going on. I think I've watched it like 5 times.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks really, really cool. So much shit's going on in that. So that looks awesome. There was like there was like a Tomb Raider thing, wasn't there?
It was a remaster of 1, 2, 3 or a collection.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I can't remember what else was noteworthy that happened there. There was something else as well.
I'll tell you something noteworthy.
What happened? Are you going to talk about baby steps?
I'm not going to talk about baby steps, although I was thinking about it. I really was thinking about making a baby steps joke, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Too predictable, clearly. The timed exclusivity period on Rebirth was
it's like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months minimum. Yeah.
Can we trust it?
No.
Is it trustworthy?
I think that shit's going to get renewed. I feel like, well, I don't know actually, because on light of Final Fantasy 16 not doing what they want, I think maybe that Square are going to start to turn over a new leaf and just start to get their stuff on multiple platforms, even if PlayStation are offering quite a nice paycheck. I think they're coming to the realization that paycheck's not enough to recoup the costs that they could get for just putting it on multi-plat for everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not 3 months, but I think like 6 or something like that. I genuinely think it's going to be quite quick before it starts to actually reach other consoles. And I think that this year, in preparation for that as well, I think we might get 7 remake this year. Drop on Xbox, especially for like the prep and the hype leading up to it. And maybe Philly's already got something, in an email somewhere saying that he's going to have it by April or something like that. So, and yeah, he might want to get Final Fantasy VII, the first one, on this year. I could also potentially see even Final Fantasy 16, reaching Xbox at some point this year or early next year or something like that. Since they're not too happy with its sales and the new relationship that's kind of being formed here with Xbox and Square. So it's a great time, mate. I'm beaming from ear to ear. I'd love to see these games start to pile onto Xbox. At reasonable, time frames. Maybe in the near future, hell, we even get them on the same day. At some point. Some of these future releases.
Wow. The dream.
Yeah, like these are some of my favorite gaming franchises. Final Fantasy. And I would love to just play it on my home console. And, as stupid as it sounds, just play it on that controller and get achievements for it. All that sort of thing. It'd be cool to have that on my platform. So, yeah, it sucks to see Square obviously take a pretty big hit. But if it starts to mean they drop all this stupid exclusivity and actually just get it on wider platforms, I'm all for it.
Hell yeah.
And they're never gonna drop Final Fantasy. Let's be real. Final Fantasy is Square Enix. That IP's going nowhere. It would just be a case of they need to adapt.
Yeah, definitely. And well, this is the thing. This is like kind of the tie-in, right? Obviously, we had Phil turn up at the Final Fantasy fan event the other month and say, "Look at us go! New partnership. Expect more things in the future." Also, Final Fantasy 14 coming to Xbox in 2014, which is pretty hype. That's one of the best MMOs up there with World of Warcraft and ESO in terms of retention and play count. And then we find out last week Square Enix's stock has fallen 30% from its peak this year, wiping out almost $2 billion off the company's market value since Final Fantasy 16's release. And then we find out that Final Fantasy 7 remake, and what was the one they did after that? What was like the expansion thing they did? What was it called?
Integrate,
that's it. Those two combined, and the phrasing was really weird. Shipped and sold 7 million copies. Okay. Shipped and sold is weird because shipped is very different. Like shipping, you can ship a massive number. So I'm just going to take their word for it and assume they just mean sold. They sold the ones they shipped.
And the sold, so or maybe shipped just means physical and sold means digital. So they're combining. There's just a way to say physical and digital combined. It's been 7 million. Maybe. And that's a very low number. It's quite low for two.
Very low
for
number.
Two, essentially
for a
two
game
games.
of the year winner.
Yeah.
And a game which is, how old is 7 Remake? 6 years old or something now?
Yeah. I'd say 5 years, maybe 20. Yeah. 2018. Yeah. Did it come out in the year of Sony with Spider-Man and God of War?
No, we're both being dumb. It's 2020. I thought it was
2020. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Makes still sense. 3 years on for both of them combined, 7 mil is not that much. No. And that, so I can't help but think, like we spoke about, the CEO got fired fucking 6 months ago or something, didn't he? So I can't help but think the shareholders and the analysts have crunched the numbers and gone, yeah, you've done this work with PlayStation to get us consistent small lump sums, but like the market penetration of Final Fantasy is dead. Nobody knows who it is. Nobody knows. Like, there are people like coming into their teens who don't know what Final Fantasy is because they're playing on PC, they're playing on their phones, they're playing on the Switch, they're playing on Xbox, and none of them know what this IP is.
Yeah.
We used to be one of the biggest IPs, you know, in terms of reputation, it still is, but clearly there's a waning reputation here, and you could certainly make the argument that the PlayStation exclusivity has eroded that.
I think so.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, such a large chunk of sales if you were to release it even a couple months after a PlayStation release or something like that, or even at the same time. Like, oh my god, the amount of sales if you were to dump that thing on Steam, like Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. So, and yeah, maybe not so much Xbox because Xbox isn't the biggest like Japanese orientated console still. It's, you know, it's growing and stuff like that, but I still think you would get a decent chunk from Xbox players, you know. But nowhere near as much as just bringing it to PC. So yeah, I completely agree. I think they kind of just lost sight in this weird exclusivity deal they've had with PlayStation, and I think, you know, in all honesty, I don't want to paint PlayStation to be the bad guy or anything, but they've probably been absolutely loving it. Just getting these and just like probably knowingly
taking them for a ride.
Yeah, just knowing they're taking these guys for a ride and just thinking, you know, how long can we get away with this? You know, I genuinely think they were probably fully aware that they're taking Square for a ride, and they're like, well, why should we? We're not going to say anything. Shh, everyone fucking, you know. So I think it's about time, and I think it's healthy for the company and the IP to just get away from it, like 100%. And yeah, you know, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy, and I think it's healthy. It's healthy for it to do this. Yeah.
Which is like, and you know, it's not like they can point to the critical success, because all the Final Fantasies they continue to make in partnership with Sony have been of really high quality, and that hasn't made a fucking difference.
I think so. 7 remake was probably like an 88, I think maybe, and I think not 16 was settled at like a 90 or an 89 or an 88.
88, yeah.
So, you know, they're all high 80s, you know, but I know it's an excellent game, you know, and they are excellent. I played them. They're fucking insane. But yeah, there's just, like you said, I just think they're just shrouded in a cloak of invisibility a little bit. There's only a very niche set of people.
Do you mean clouded?
Nice. I get it, cloud. But yeah, so, hard agree, and yeah, I feel like it's should have come sooner, in my opinion. So
yeah, stupid decision making from Square as per usual. Stupid expectations from Square as
they're a weird
usual,
company, aren't they?
And Godfather, fucking Phil Spencer saving the day as per usual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see. I very quickly had. I skimmed through the PlayStation Direct because you said you thought it was a really good show, and I'd seen online some people were having mixed thoughts of state of mid shit like that. So, oh, shut up. And I thought it was a pretty good show, to be honest with you. I thought it was quite good.
It's fine.
I think it's like we said, it was kind of like, I think there was kind of an expectation that this was going to be the second half of the showcase because their actual showcase was a bit wank. So
I thought what people were expecting, like fucking Wolverine to be there or something. Like
yeah, well they were expecting to see gameplay from a lot of their first party studios, which they just don't have. It's like PlayStation is now having that dip that Xbox did in 2022. You know, their only first party release has been Spider-Man this year. That's it.
Yeah.
Even in Xbox's 2022, they didn't have a AAA, but they did have 3 AA's. You know, arguably. Again, wherever you want to draw the line, whatever, they had 3 first-party games. They had Grounded, Pentiment, and As Dusk Falls.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever. Yep, Spider-Man looks good. I think the game's probably going to crack a 90. It looks good. I think there are bits that look a bit like off.
Really?
Some of the textures look a bit dirty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being delusional. But Like, there's
you
a
watch
couple of
it at
shots I've seen
4K?
where I'm like, that doesn't look that good. No, I didn't watch it at 4K.
Yeah,
Just clips I've seen on Twitter.
yeah. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you actually sat down and watched it at 4K, maybe. But no, I mean, from what I can tell, it looks pretty polished. It looks pretty clean. I agree with you. I think this is a 90+ game. It's looking pretty cool, man.
Although I will say it does just look like more Spider-Man, and it's not a fucking problem. I played Ragnarok and I really enjoyed Ragnarok. But it was just kind of more God of War. I mean, there was some elements of that were a bit different. It's looking like there's a bit of a formula here with the Sony games.
Yeah.
Do the first one and then open it up to 2 characters on the sequel. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's good. That's not a problem. It's not necessarily a critique. It's just an observation.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it's just more Spider-Man. Yeah, they've doubled the size of the map. They've kept the original map and obviously tweaked it and nicer and all that kind of stuff. They've also added on Brooklyn, I think. So it's essentially like they were just like, essentially this is double the map. Switching between the characters on the fly. Both characters play very different. In the sense of their powers and tech and stuff like that. So you get unique gameplay from 2 different Spider-Mans. You got all these cool new villains. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw a glimpse of Mysterio might be in the game. You got Venom. You got Lizard. These are all some pretty fucking ace villains. Craven, obviously. Yeah, dude. I just think it's kind of gonna slap. The suit customization looks nuts. I think they said there were over 65 suits, which is a lot. And then all of them can be customized as well and tweaked both in appearance and statistics and stuff like that to how you want to play. So looks like there's quite a lot of options there for people. Awesome. I'm pretty excited, and Tilly was buzzing watching that as well because we've actually got the day booked off for the Spider-Man release. We booked that Friday off so we can play it for the long weekend.
Oh, that means you're not buying it digitally, are you?
Rip. So no, we'll probably buy it physical so we can share it. Yeah, but yeah.
I'll play in 2026.
I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I did see you with Final Fantasy as well. Not that you would have got around to playing Final Fantasy 16 anyway, but yeah, I bought a physical copy.
Such a rip.
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay, was there anything else? I don't think so. Did Nintendo do anything noteworthy? DLCs for Pokemon that are running at 3 frames or something?
Didn't they show off Mario Wonder or something? People are buzzing about this Super Mario Wonder or whatever it's called.
Oh, it's just fucking whatever, isn't it? It's just fucking Mario, isn't it?
Buzzing about it though. People are literally like, it's fucking, it's glorious. Like it's a masterpiece returned to its form, but innovative in its new generation. I don't know, man. I've been seeing some ridiculous fucking words being thrown about this. Seemingly,
red man,
to me, being ignorant, probably. I don't know. It just seems like a Mario game to me, but people are seeing it as the second coming of Christ. So, yeah.
And that's why I pinched it on Fantasy Critic, because all Nintendo games get 99 Metacritic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Super Mario Wonder is Game of the Year, dude.
Yeah. Well, this is and by the way, with the conversations we've just had, that is exactly why I think you're all insane for thinking Starfield's going to get into Game of the Year. It's not getting a nomination. Not a chance.
Yeah, maybe. Because you got Spider-Man and you got some Nintendo releases. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think there will be some outlets who will put it forward for a number of reasons, for it being a big game, for being reasonably experimental, for being a new IP.
Yeah.
Whereas something like Super Mario's Bros Wonder, this looks quite safe. Spider-Man 2 is quite safe. So, but I don't overall. There's too many good games, and I think there were enough people that hated Starfield. Apparently, 4 out of 10, that it's not going to get in.
Yeah.
Some people really hate that game. I think it will get nominations in other categories, in other art categories, but just not for Game of the Year. I don't think Xbox will get any representation in that category as per usual. So,
potential.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, it was Peach. That's why. Sorry, so I traded for fucking Peach. It's like, do you know how sick and fatigued I am getting of this Peach of the Marioverse?
They're making a game.
Yeah, they're making a
Peach
game. Yeah, it's not the first one either.
Why not Rosalia? She's
I don't care, man. They're
the
all
gangster. I want to play a game with her and chubby stars. That's what I want. Those chubby stars are the best.
Yeah, they are the best.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird.
This is what I just googled Peach game, and this is
the only game I want to play, which is a Peach game, is a not safe for work VR Peach game.
Yeah. Jiminy Cricket, man. Yeah, I just googled Peach game, all lowercase, and this is the first thing that came up on Yahoo News. Princess Peach standalone game looks amazing. I just feel like that.
Peach.
I don't know, man. Like,
that's what they need.
I'm just at the end of my fucking tether with all of this. Like, to be a Nintendo game, be a little colourful guy with red eyes, wear a hat, turn into
the person that likes
else.
the Rabbids, Mario Rabbids. So,
I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I had a 7.5. You know, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not being like necessarily critical. I'm just so fatigued of it. Like, I feel like every Mario game I see, whether it's about Mario, it's about Luigi, it's about fucking Peach, a Toad, they all wear a uniform, they swallow someone, wear a hat, they turn into something, and then they get the power of the thing they've turned into, and it's like, how many times have we got to do this? How many times these games got to be called masterpieces before we start thinking of something else? Like, I don't know.
They're masterpieces, man. If you never wanted to play a Souls-like Peach game, because that's what
I guess part of me has wanted that, but not, you know, I'm still fatigued of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to get so worked up about Mario today, so
yeah, no, I didn't expect that either. But sometimes when Nintendo gets brought up, you go into a little bit of a frenzy. You start frothing at the mouth a little bit.
I don't know how you couldn't, to be honest. I don't know. I think that. Yeah, as a brand, weird. Nintendo is such an enigma. They're so elusive. How do they do it? How do they keep making the same game about Mario? They must have made like 4,000 games about Mario, and they keep. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
There's a couple that stand out, like Galaxy, which like genuinely like reinvented. And yeah, exactly. But then there are others where he's tossing his hat around.
It's another 2D Mario.
And there are others where, a bit questionable. But who am I? Who am I to judge? As long as they don't snap up exclusivity on Monster Hunter.
That's true, actually. That was part of me. I always get a little bit worried. When PlayStation has a state of play and they start talking about third-party partners. Part of me always really does freak out.
I know, yeah. And it's surely we're going to see something about World 2 soon. Like, surely.
It's got to be.
It's got to be. Like, I would expect it to drop this year. Not like news of it being a thing to drop this year, not it come out this year. So yeah, it's a scary time, man, because that game is a system seller for us, and we know it. So it's a very scary time.
It is. It's like I don't want to.
You'll be alright, man. Just think playing it on the adaptive triggers, man. Swinging that great sword, like squeezing that trigger. It's gonna be so cool and immersive, dude.
Yeah. I'll have to pay for my cloud saves to actually carry between sessions. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Which, of course, have been increased in price recently, so there's that as well.
Right, I'm going to derail this train. What's the next story?
All right. Speaking of third party, see, I did actually have a segue. I was really good as well. I should have just gone. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt. Okay, here we go. We're just going to pretend. Okay, third party, third party. Monster Hunter game, yeah. Capcom, Asia, Tokyo Game Show. That's the link that I was going for.
Oh, you think it's going to be shown at the Tokyo Game Show?
I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I think maybe.
World 2? Capcom's the biggest IP.
I mean, Capcom will probably just have their own direct, to be honest. But
Cap God.
Cap God, yeah. But Tokyo Game Show is getting quite big these days, and the old green man, the little green man,
Luigi.
Xbox, in case I'm not being clear. Yeah, I could be talking about anyone, really, couldn't I? The little aliens from Mexico. Did you see them? The little Mexican government being like, "We found aliens. We've got alien corpses."
No.
Put them down, and now we've all seen alien corpses. Yeah, they're
That's
just little brown guys with skinny legs. Yeah.
What?
Well. Yeah, you
Mexican...
actually missed the first sign of extraterrestrial life this week. Are you okay? Like
Mexican government aliens. I'm googling this right now. Oh my god, I've seen this. I thought it was just a meme.
I mean, it's not a meme, but I think it is a hoax. To be fair, as per usual.
Looks like it's made out of paper mache.
It probably is. Isn't it fucked up that the government have so much power that they could just make a paper mache alien and just be like, "Yeah, this is it."
You also think they would put a little bit more effort than just be like, let's fool the world with paper mache.
It's like I can see the headline on it from the newspaper.
I'll give him that though. He looks comfy. They're giving him a nice velvet sheet to lie in. He looks comfy.
I'm happy. He's comfy.
Why does his head look like the fucking end of a hammer? Like you could pick him up and bash nails in with him.
I don't know, dude. Look, you just keep that thought going.
They use each other as tools.
Put it on the screen so they can see what you're talking about.
I just closed it because the website's really laggy.
Command Shift T. That's how you open your last closed tab.
Oh yeah.
If you close the tab by accident. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
That's a fun fact. Anybody on Windows? Control Tab T. Close a tab you didn't mean to?
I'm on
Pop
Mac,
that shit open.
So
okay.
There he is. His paper mache alien.
And you said his head looked like a hammer.
It does.
Yeah. He's quite top heavy, isn't he? He's like
I feel like it's too distinctive. Like you can see like his eyes, nose, a little slit for the mouth. I feel like it's all just a little bit too obvious for something that's a cajillion years old, but whatever.
Cajillion?
I don't know how old it is.
That's how old I feel at times, to be fair.
This is me when I finish fucking work on Friday.
that's you about to boot up Starfield and then falling into your velvety bed.
Withered husk.
Yeah. I can't do this. I can't do this right now.
Oh god.
Okay, so Tokyo Game Show.
So when is this? What's the date for this bad boy?
It is on it is next. No, it's this Thursday, September 21st. Oh. Yeah, very nice. And would you know, Phil himself did a little briefing. He got up on his little stage and he was like, I can't remember what he said. He spoke in the native tongue of Tokyo. I'm gonna humiliate myself.
So Japanese.
I mean, I don't know because they speak a lot of different languages in
Tokyo. I feel like it's Japanese.
Oh fuck! I can't put the toothpaste back in the toothpick, can I? There's like no way to escape that. I don't know the answer.
It's Japanese.
Oh,
but Phil Spencer speak Japanese.
Have you not heard him? Yeah, he's like.
No.
He's like, yeah. He says Phil Desu. Yeah, that's what he says.
Phil fucking Desu. Let's go.
It is arigato, isn't it? Arigato is hello. Yeah, he was like arigato. Phil Desu.
Hello and
sounds so American. Yeah, that's it. He turned up and he was like, "Goodbye, I'm Phil."
It genuinely is hello and goodbye.
No, I know. No, I believe you. It's like context dependent, isn't it? It's like it's like Squanch from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, basically.
So where was I fucking going with this? Yeah, there was a little video you can find on YouTube, on Twitter or whatever. He posted it and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna be at Tokyo Game Show. And specifically, he said, we're going to show updates from our studios, and there will be a primary focus on creators located in Japan and Asia. And I thought this was interesting, Tim. Updates from our studios? Phil, have you lost your nut? Had a little bonk on the noggin, have you? You don't have any creators in Japan and Asia apart from Tango. That's it. What are you on about?
You think he's going to announce some newly bought studios?
No.
What
I mean, I don't know, but I don't think they're acquiring anything until ABK's finished.
So what's he talking about?
I don't have a clue. That's why I did the whole speech about the noggin and the bonking and stuff, because I don't know what he's
Do you think we might see the whole... I was saying that we could get like Final Fantasy VII this year. Do you think maybe that could be an announcement there?
Now, that is the hot topic. That is the big jalapeno question of the day.
I could go for a jalapeno right now.
A red jalapeno, maybe.
Yeah, I like red jalapenos, but I prefer green ones. The red ones are a bit too sweet. I think generally the green ones are a bit nicer.
And I'll tell you what, leave the seeds in.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're a hell of a lot more spicy, but leave the seeds in. He's right.
Yeah. And also, I have a real fucking problem. Like, if I try and de-seed chili, man, I don't know what's the matter. Like, it stays on my hands for so long, and then I will like have a piss, and before you know it, I've got a chili dick.
I've done that before. It's rough. It's such a horrible sensation. It doesn't quite hurt, but it doesn't. It just feels off. I don't like it at all. Yeah,
and it lingers as well.
Yeah, it really stays around.
Yeah, it's horrible.
The affliction of chili dick.
I hate that shit. So, could Final Fantasy VII be there, or any Final Fantasy, or any sort of announcement?
Well, it could be the sort of thing that he's literally just like, yep, you can just go get it now. It's on the store, you know, because it's an old game. It's a few years old, you know, like. I don't know.
It's playing Game Pass right now.
I feel like Square are willing to kind of do anything to start getting their stocks back up. So yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be like a play it on Games Pass sort of deal. Although it is an old game, it's 3 to 4 years old now. It could just drop into Games Pass, but it could just be like, you know, you can just find it on our store now and. I don't know, but then they wouldn't really release it at like a full price point. I don't know. I feel like if you are going to do anything like that, it might be Games Pass, you know, which would be very interesting. But yeah, potentially.
I don't think it's impossible.
What about that studio that worked on Scarlet Nexus? Like, were they not partnered with Xbox?
I mean, maybe they were partnered.
Because I know it was Bandai Namco, but I don't know who actually also like developed the game. Did Bandai Namco just publish it? I don't know.
No, they developed as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they just worked with Xbox for just that specific title. Okay, so it's nothing actually owned. A studio owned by Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there are some safe bets as well, like Persona Tactica. There was the other Metaphor Refantasio, which is such a Japanese name for a game. Yeah. Metaphor Refantasio?
Doesn't, yeah, it's just, they're not words. That's how you know it's a JRPG.
Yeah, it sounds like a intergalactic, like a concept, like a metaphysical concept, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What do you mean? And so they were shown off in partnership with Xbox. There was that new Capcom game that I can't remember what it was called. That looked a bit bonkers at the showcase. But the timing feels right for Final Fantasy, doesn't it? Like if there was a time, it does feel like maybe
get some
announce something now. And I think Xbox knows it would help keep the momentum up. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Starfield. Final Fantasy announcement for Xbox. Forza.
Lies of P.
Party Animals. Yeah, Lies of P. Is it penis? We're really getting into our goofy stage of the podcast, aren't
we are. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. Might potentially happen. I might tune in. I don't know how long these shows last for, these Tokyo Game shows. Are they generally like your standard sort of hour and a half format for the entire show, or longer, or?
I don't know, but because obviously Xbox is having a presence there, and I don't know how long they usually last. I'm just having to have a quick look.
And yeah, it must be interesting to get like the time zone, like when it drops for UK. I know a lot of our listeners aren't UK, so but.
I did have a look, and it was like a really awkward timing. It was like middle of the day, so I would have considered to see if we wanted to do a reaction stream or something, because I fucked up last year, didn't I? Like I got the timing wrong and then we missed it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. But no, if it's during the day, then obviously I'll be working, and be working probably not.
So this is what I think would be ideal. They show a couple of localization things. I think you might remember last year we got Deathloop. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? And they announced Deathloop's coming next week to Game Pass, and also there's a Japanese localization.
Yeah.
So it's like very loosely made it part of the Japanese show. They might do that. They might be like, oh, Elder Scrolls 6 releases next week. Here's the Japanese localization. Yeah, who knows? Potentially something for Hellblade, or maybe some other stuff. They give some Final Fantasy news. That would be a megaton, to be honest. Like if they, because if they get the announcement for either 16 or 7 remake on the platform, that kind of kills the PlayStation exclusivity narrative. Like that essentially is no longer an exclusive. Yeah, sure, they get timed rights, but like
it's going to dwindle. It's going to get less and less as well. Those timed exclusivity rights, yeah.
It benefits them and actively damages the competitor. And there's one other little bean. Well, before I get onto that little bean, potentially, if they really want to, announce Evil Within 3. Just do it. Get John Johannes, the new studio lead over.
That's true.
Tango. Hi-Fi release in January. I'm sure they've had the second team spinning up on something since Ghostwire Tokyo, which released in 2021. They've been working on something for 2 years. Announce it. Get people, hire people up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little announcement for it. Yeah, like a little eerie trailer for it. I mean, there's no way that Evil Within is not in the works in some way, whether it's a concept or whether it's a more than that. Like you said, over the last couple of years, it's got to be an IP they're carrying on with. Like it's well known in the horror genre as a pretty damn solid title for horror survival. So, and there's not many of them out there. So, it's a good IP to hold on to, for sure. So, and yeah, like you said, Tango, like you said, it's a publisher that the Xbox actually own as well, a studio the Xbox actually own. So, yeah, I could genuinely see that potentially. Good call.
Potentially a Hi-Fi Rush update. They did that last year, or a DLC/expansion.
Yeah, it's true.
I kind of hope they don't. I don't think they need to. I'm a bit worried they might do to cash in on the success of Hi-Fi. I don't really think you need to do that. It was perfect. Leave it as is. If you want to do a couple of free updates, by all means, move on to the next thing. Get your big thing out, whatever the next thing is. I think that's going to be better overall. And then the little bean, Tim, and we haven't talked about it yet. Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, the project that he's got working for us, yeah. Which is that really weird one, wasn't it? There was like,
we don't know anything about it officially.
It's like cloud, wasn't it? It was like cloud only or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Although that it seemed very early when we last heard about it, and that was what, like a year ago, maybe less. Like it was less than that. It was basically just him on a screen, just like, yeah, I had a Zoom call with Xbox Yeah, that was literally it. It was just like, it was so
buy
early.
stonks and Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I don't know. I think that one might be a bit of a stretch. I think that's
it
some
was
hope.
2021.
That one.
It was announced in 2021.
Was
yeah,
it?
you're probably right. It probably is some hopium. Yeah, well, it wasn't. What year are we in? 2022? Maybe it was
3.
last year.
I feel like it was last year.
Maybe.
Was it the one we did a live reaction to? Was it the same like as the Redfall one?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. A quick look. Yeah. Okay. There's a Polygon article here in June 2022, so that makes me think it was last year.
Did not age well, our live reaction, by the way. We were kind of hyped for a Redfall. Did not age well.
I know.
Age well. We were like, it looks really solid. It looks clean. Arcane, don't miss. Oh, God.
I mean, all those things were right, in my opinion, but then, of course,
we were swindled. Yeah.
Did not age well at all. So, I think they've got a couple of ducks lined up for a little collateral here.
Yeah. So weird expression, but it's collateral ducks. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the Kojima is some hopium, but I genuinely think it potentially some Final Fantasy stuff that would be pretty cool. I tell you what, I'd probably play 7 again on my Xbox. Yeah, no, I think there could be some stuff there. Evil Within, definitely. I don't know. I think it could be one or the other, because I don't think we're dropping that much at the Tokyo Game Show. I think it'll be a small presence. I don't think it's going to be like, it is Evil Within 2. It is Final Fantasy. Like, I don't. That's a lot. But yeah,
they do have a lot to show these days, though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Guess we'll wait and see. Thursday.
So we'll wait and see. And this is also it's kind of a jumping point between TGAs if they show anything there. Remember, they didn't. Do you remember that last year? Actually, just very quickly, do you remember last year when everybody lost their fucking mind that Xbox didn't do anything at TGAs, and then they had the direct 1 month later?
Yeah, I do.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah.
Because
Phil was still in the crowd, wasn't he? And everyone was just like, oh, where the fuck was he there?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
And it was the day after the CMA blocked the ABK deal, like initially.
Yeah.
And nobody was expecting it.
Exhausted.
Yeah, fucking hell, God.
It's just like hit Flask in the crowd. Just camera points to him, he just fucking swats it away. Yeah. Get away from me.
Yeah. That should be. We should be hearing more about that soon. The only thing developments I think we've had on ABK is that EU have said we're not going to have to reassess this. Like, we're fine with it as is. So we're just waiting on the CMA to decide.
Okay.
If that whole restructuring we spoke about last month is actually going to go through. So
yeah,
we'll see. Who cares at this point? Okay, so ladies and gents of the show, we've got about 20 minutes left with you. If you're still here, please like the video. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you want to be a good old pal, good old buddy, consider sharing it. We've been on 59 subscribers for such a long time now, and it's really it's giving me eczema, honestly.
Damn. Oh God, I wasn't expecting that. It's giving me a skin disease. Please subscribe.
I've got the old eczema. Do you know how much moisturizer I have to use? It's every day. It's a lot of product. Like, if we had one more, I think it'd just all go away. Nice wet skin.
Just create another account. Or would that not work? You know.
What do you mean another
fake.
account?
Well, you've already done 59 of them, mate. Just do 60.
Oh, shut up. So, if we've got time, there are 2 more things I'd like to go over. The first one being Forza Motorsport previews out in the wild. Catch anything? Catch any of this business? Any of this good stuff?
No, not particularly. I think I saw it, but I didn't really click on it. Instead I clicked on the Lies of P review. So
that was unlimited your time one, was it? Or was that your
yeah,
attention span? It was like, oh god, I can only fit one video in.
yeah,
I've got to
basically,
choose.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
fair
basically
enough.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, not to get too into it, but everything's looking good. Everything's looking good. As a quick TLDR from our friend Clobril over on Twitter, it's feeling good. There are new and more complex physics simulations allowing for more varied racing. The AI has been overhauled. Racing strategy has been upgraded and overhauled. One of the biggest and actually one of the most controversial changes coming away from the preview, some people are not feeling so positive about this, is the progression, which seems to have been made more accessible. You know how in previous Forza games it's like a load of esoteric stuff where you don't know what you're doing, you just kind of you keep buying new cars and you're like, is this better? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
In this, they've made it so that there is still a collection element, but the main way you progress is by finding a car you like and leveling it up with XP, rather than like earning credits and then spending that credits on parts that you don't really understand what they do. I'm talking about us, being car plebs.
Yeah.
But you upgrade the car with XP based on your races, and you upgrade the parts you want. So it seems a bit more streamlined. It seems a bit more accessible.
Okay.
And then you can take those cars kind of online, etc. And yeah, like I said, there's been a bit of mixed response to that.
Yeah, well, I was about to say it's kind of pointing away from the hardcore audience, which is kind of what this game appeals to a bit more as a hardcore racing sim, right? More so than Forza Horizon. It's
Definitely.
like you said, it's streamlining it and making it a bit more accessible, which is great. But I feel like that's gonna negatively impact on the more hardcore audience, right?
Potentially, potentially. We'll have to see. Oh, he's already got it on the stream. Let's go. I will say, obviously, Forza looks clean. Looks so fucking clean, this game. Like a 4K 60. It looks absolutely
our stream
delightful.
is not doing it any quality because there's only so much I can do because like I've got it at 720 60, but if I crank it any higher, everything will start to lag. So
yeah. Okay. But generally sounding very positive. When is the release date? Let me just double check. Because again, like I think we're at this kind of stage with the brand. No, it's October.
Oh, it's in October, is it? I thought it was like early November. Okay.
Forza Motorsport 2023. October 10th.
Oh wow, early October.
Yeah, 3 weeks. I think we're at the state of the brand where even though you kind of it is expected that Forza will be good, I think the last one wasn't received all that well, and it's been a 6-year break between these mainline entries. So a lot of the car sim people are really, it's quite highly anticipated. But I believe this will be the first one to come to Game Pass. Might be wrong.
No, I think you're right. New, at least. They would have chucked the other ones in Game Pass, but yeah.
Yeah, and we're at that point where Xbox it's got momentum. How many more people have picked up an Xbox? How many more people have come into Game Pass because of Starfield and are now discovering, oh, look at this Hi-Fi Rush, look at that Grounded, look at that Ori Will of the Wisps, look at that. Oh, I could try a bit of Flight Sim. I could try a Forza Motorsport. I could try a Forza Horizon, and all of these games are getting good scores. Like these are good games. These are high 80s games most of the time. And that's what Xbox needs. This kind of collection of high quality games that you kind of eventually can't ignore. You can't ignore that there's a good catalog here. And I think it closes out the year in a really good way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, it's just one after the next, of just, 8s or above just piling into Games Pass. Just like there's almost too much coming in right now. And that's not even including first party, it's just including third party as well, like your Liza P and your Payday. If those reach like 8s and above, these are all just piling into Games Pass. There's just almost too much choice. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, Forza really has shown in the past that, if this one does do well and this break, serves, good for the brand and the game and the development cycle, genuine game of the year potential like nomination. This game could quite easily, if it comes out looking pretty shit hot and scores well, could get into that bracket. Although they don't like having car games in the old game of the year nomination, do they?
Don't get me started, Tim.
But we'll swiftly move on from that. We'll do a little U-turn away from that. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of momentum. There's they're coming in, pedal to the floor. They're fucking coming in fifth gear, speeding on in.
Oh shit!
Wow,
I did the wrong one.
Wow, toxic. No, I agree with you. Basically, there's a lot of momentum there. So.
And just to give you audience a sense of like the quality bar of the last games, Forza Motorsport 7, which was the last one. Remember, this is a kind of a bit of a reboot, just Forza Motorsport. But the previous one, Forza Motorsport 7, was an 85, a mighty 85 on Opencritic. Forza Motorsport 6 in 2015 was an 88. And then Forza Motorsport 5, which was the famously controversial one, was an 80. So still not really that controversial, but one of the lowest scoring ones. So good. Probably a high 80s game, potentially cracking the 90s, which would be great. What I would like to see, ultimately, I'd like to see Xbox get represented well at the Game Awards this year. If Starfield doesn't make the cut, that would be a shame. I don't think, like I said, I don't think any Xbox games are going to make the cut for the Game of the Year nomination. But I think they will get some good representation across the board. Across all the categories. And I think that would, that ends up looking good for the brand. So
hard agree.
Yeah. Do you think you'll play this at all when it comes out? Do you think you'll give it a go, or do you think it's too much to play? Probably.
I think I'll give it a go as like a graphical test, but I ain't spending hours on this. Like, I might boot it up and just be like, play a couple races and just be like, yo, this is quite phenomenal to look at. Like, this looks insane. But nah, I ain't picking this up as like a game and pouring time into it. No, just not a car gamer. No disrespect to anyone that is. Just not my vibe. But I tend to enjoy them as graphical showcases for sure. So. Plus, it's probably going to be like 1 billion gig on my internal storage. So, yeah.
I just cracked 170k reward points.
Dude.
Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go.
It's hype. So, yeah, it's like locker room. Let's fucking go, guys.
Let's fucking do this, man.
It's pretty hype, though. Well done, man.
Thanks, dude. All right, then. Rounding out the show with our final story for today, talking about the brand, talking about closing the year with 2 big hitters, talking about a good year in general, Hi-Fi Rush, Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 4, Quake Remastered, Starfield, Forza, Rare.
What's going on? Is this a cue for me to say something?
No, that was me shutting down as I was saying Redfall.
Okay. I was like, Rare? I thought you just said Rare. I was like, what have Rare done?
No, nothing, man. Well, still there with Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
So, with all of that in mind, the Xbox Series S and X sales are up 76%, and that's just in the UK.
Wow. Just wow.
Xbox has been quite heavily dominated by PlayStation this gen. So those are pretty impressive numbers. Who knew, right?
Very impressive numbers.
Nice. I thought that was you. I thought you were actually making that noise. I was like, fucking hell, that's a good clap.
Really good, very echoey room, Tim.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, that's dude, it's great. I mean, fuck me. If you're going
Good.
into a meeting or you're seeing a graph and you're seeing a 76% increase in sales, what time frame is this? This 76? Oh,
No,
sit on Starfield launch.
just a
Okay,
week.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So yeah, dude. I mean, that's nuts, and I think that just goes to show that people are just kind of waiting to see if Xbox first party studios can do it, can compete with the with the other ones. And I think this shows that Starfield did do its job, right? And I think it's installed a bit more faith in the brand, and people are thinking, yes, it's worth me owning an Xbox now. There's a lot coming. Starfield fucking slaps. Games Pass is just getting 80s and above dumped into it left, right, and center. It's a good time to be an Xbox gamer for sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And that's, I think this is the important thing as well. It's not just a system seller. It's
an ecosystem seller.
An ecosystem seller.
Yeah, that was perfectly timed.
Patented, coined. Yeah, thank you. So, this doesn't even account for the people playing on PC, playing on all the other platforms, cloud, whatever. We're yet to get a second batch of numbers, but I'm going to be very excited to see what those numbers were. I think the last big thing we got from Xbox was Halo Infinite, and I think it was 2 months after launch. They posted numbers saying that 20 million people have played, which was a pretty high number.
Very high number.
And obviously, we haven't had numbers since for obvious reasons. I'm curious to see how Starfield kind of stacks up. They're not looking at sales anymore; they're looking at players. And I think we've heard that internally Xbox use new to Xbox as one of their primary metrics. They don't really look at sales; they look at people who are playing, like retention, and people who are new to the brand, new to the ecosystem, new to their first party titles. We've heard from a couple of people that supposedly the game is like blasting through expectations, like even what they had hoped for, it's doing better than that, which is really funny because if you think we spoke about a financial report before Starfield came out, and they were like they only had predicted like a 1% growth in the brand for the last quarter of the year, and we were like, why? Like, why?
There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
So maybe they were just being conservative. And they knew there was maybe going to be a bit of controversy with the game. So yeah, it's good, and like you said, it shows that I think they need these games with market penetration. It's to have all of these games that are maybe not niche, but aren't going to sell your system is fantastic. But you need to get people in the door. You need to get people in the door with tentpoles. As we've said before, I really think Hellblade could be that. I really do. I think Avowed could. It just depends on how it's marketed from now on and how it's received. So, that's 2 already for next year. So I really think it's looking good. It's looking good. This is a very different position to how we were talking this time last year.
Oh yeah, it's night and day. Yeah, it's crazy. It definitely has. I feel like the fruits of their labor are starting to come through now. I feel like the as to quote that article, Starfield does genuinely look like it might be the starting gun to Xbox. Actually starting to ramp up a little bit. Hard agree. Looking good.
Fantastic. We'll have to see how this goes, and we'll have to see if Xbox can keep up the momentum through the Tokyo Game Show, etc. I have a funny feeling that they will. When Redfall released, Phil Spencer went on the Kind of Funny podcast, and he said, "Oh guys, arigato, Phil Spencer, desu. I'm sorry, but now I can see it. I can see the vision, and I've been saying, Phil, I've been swallowing your lies for the last for the last 3 years, and now you're telling me you can see it. Well, I say, you know what? I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Give me more. Feed me more. Feed me more lies. And I think he's right. You know, the showcase was good for a reason. They had a lot to show. And we still know every week we yap on about the stuff that they haven't showed, the stuff that they've only showed us a bit of. You know, it's all got to come out. The problem is keeping the quality bar high and making sure it's marketed well to get the market penetration. So
yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's have a good time, you know?
Yeah. I'm excited. It's a good time to just be gamers in general, but I think especially Xbox right now. So yeah, I'm having a great time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the show next week, because I kind of want to see some Final Fantasy news, because that would really make me happy.
It made me happy as well, man.
Yeah, you could finally get your entry point into the franchise.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I think 7 Remake's a good point to do that, you know. By no means is it perfect. It has its sluggish moments, but it's a good game.
I'm okay with that.
It's a great game.
Yeah. Oh, I want it. I want to do it. All right.
We did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your valuable Sunday with us. I guess maybe if you're listening to it after the fact, fuck you. You should have listened live.
My God, this is why we don't have 60 subscribers. It's you.
Just kidding. Just kidding, of course. I'm only joking. Just joshing with you.
What's that accent? Just joshing
with you. Take care of yourselves, you know? Don't be like us. Don't have your soul eradicated, perished. Maybe played with, you know. Come listen to the Quick Resume podcast every week, and we will rekindle your soul and your love for all things.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have a special guest. That's gonna be fun. There's gonna be 3 people on this podcast next week, so be sure to tune in. And if you want to be on the show as well, you can submit your application. Down in the comments, there's a form to fill out. There's normally a 2 to 3 week wait process as we sort of weigh up whether or not it's worth our time. We have a look through your social media interactions and subscribers, that sort of thing. See if you can play with the big boys, you know. But feel free to comment. Oh, Tim, see, look, Tim wants to be on the show. It's not you, unfortunately, Tim. I feel like we would have let you know if it was you next week. But you could be on at some point. You could be on at some point, my guy. For sure.
Yeah, man.
It'd be great. It would be an honor to have you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Let's have a good Tokyo Game Show, and let's all go and get fat on power. Goodbye. Eat the wealthy. Eat the rich. Fuck the system.